Have you ever wondered how Sami would deal with weather? Specifically snow? Well, look no further. This is a match between Sami and Olaf, and I have covered both of these two before, one more than the other, I'll admit. But, Olaf? Yeah, let's start with Olaf, actually. He's actually a fairly good CO. Like, he doesn't have any day-to-day abilities at first. His day-to-day synergizes with his abilities, like his powers, and that's purely just his troops are affected by snow. I mean, what do you want me to say about that? He's not affected by his own weather. It's just rain affects him the same way that snow would affect every other single CO. So, whereas any air units, like, they're unaffected by rain, not Olaf. That bomber can only move 3 spaces now, instead of the full 7. You want your fighter to go and fire at a battlecopter? Well, it better be 4 spaces away from it, otherwise that fighter ain't going anywhere and doing a single thing. And Olaf does have the benefit of global damage as well. Like, his normal power Blizzard, it just makes it snow for a day. Which, that itself, like, depending on who you're going against, can be very, very good. Like, specifically Eagle and Lash. No one wants to do anything when it's snowing, unless they have global damage. As the only stipulation on if they're going to use a power or a super if it's snowing. Does it deal global damage? Yes. Use it. Does it? Jess. Does she deal global damage? No. Don't use it. And sadly, Sami falls in the second category, along with Jess, Max, Andy, everyone. This is not a very favorable matchup for Sami, just because of Blizzard. And if you add Winter Fury into the mix, oh boy! So, that's not to say that Sami doesn't have an edge over Olaf. Her capture game will be a bit better than Olaf if she can get her foot in the door. If she loses, like, that specific thing, Olaf is just going to kick her out. Like, so essentially you're just playing a game of, like, can I come in the house? Or is Olaf just going to shut Sami out right then and there? Because Sami, she gets movement-based powers on her foot soldiers, infantry and mechs. And snow negates that. So, and while you might think, well, mechs, they have perfect movement on anything, don't they? No. No, they do not. So, mechs, typically they can move, at first it seems like they have perfect movement. It only looks like that because they have 2 movement and they're programmed differently than infantry. So, infantry, when it comes to mountain and rivers, there's no rivers here, but there's certainly a butt ton of mountains on this map. Like, Sensei, Sami, and Lash will have a field day with mechs on this map. But back to mech versus infantry. Mechs, when they cross mountains, it only costs 1 movement for them. They're programmed that way, just to have 1 movement. And when it comes to infantry, they are programmed to take 2 movement. But add snow to the mix, it becomes a lot different for mechs. They are used to just racing over mountaintops. Olaf stops that. So, let's go ahead and actually get into this battle here. And I had to skip over to day 5 like on my future videos. I really want to do that because day 1 to 5, it's all just the same thing. Like, it genuinely is just the same thing over and over and over again, except now. So, one thing that I have not done with Sami is APCs. And there's actually quite a bit of COs that get, like, buffs on their APCs, like their transports. It just depends on what transport it is. Whether it be a transport copter, an APC, or landers / black boats. Drake would get the benefit of the boats. He would get that +1 movement. Sensei, he gets benefit on all of them, just like Sami does. Jess and Max, whenever they pop their powers, their APCs also get that +1 or 2 movement. And then Eagle, when he uses Lightning Drive or Lightning Strike, which is super. The Advanced Wars, make up your mind on which one you want the super to be. But whenever he uses that, his transports can move again. So it's quite interesting, like the differences between the transports on where they fall into when it comes to their powers or CO powers. Sami, she just gets +1 movement, just like Sensei does, just +1 movement. She doesn't get to, like, her powers, they only work for infantry and mechs. Well, why do I build an APC, when I ask? Well, typically when it comes to airport stuff, you'd spend 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1. You'd spend 4 turns getting to a stupid airport. But here's turn 1. And yeah, I open tank, and King Stephen opens a tank. I'll talk about King Stephen here in a second. I just want to talk about this APC. But here's turn 1. Turn 2, APC gets loaded, and then it moves and drops the infantry off and down into the mountains. Next turn, which is turn 3, airport will start being captured. And Sami with the first mech. That is why you'll see some people build APCs down here on their weak side, so they can capture this a little bit more quickly, and also get infantry and mechs down to the front line super duper quickly. Because this over here, this is your weak side. No matter what, like, this mountain range prevents any type of vehicle from coming through. You're only going to get infantry and mechs coming through, and typically that's not going to happen unless you're Sensei. And even then, phase 3, you got 3 cities down here. 4 if you count this one. This one's just a toss-up of where to go. Yeah, so King Stephen here, he's a 900, he's a 900 plus MMR rated player, and one of his main people is actually Olaf. So he knows Olaf quite well when it comes to down here. And this is a tier 2 match. Olaf is his tier 2. And he saw Sami, which is typically a tier 3 light pick. And depending on the map, she can jump up to tier 2 or drop down to tier 4. In fact, I believe the current round of the Smacky Cup, she is tier 4, since it's fog. And the type of map does not favor infantry engagements. It favors tank engagements. But, he was like, why did you pick Sami? And I was like, I wanted a break from Jess. And then that just started like an entire thing about, and it was very funny to me. Like, He's like, you played Jess in tier 2? I was like, I played Jess in tier 1 at one point, and he's like, oh my god. Oh my god. It was so funny. But, one thing I want to talk about real quick is this tank engagement right here. Not the best move, I'm going to say. So Sami, when it comes to direct combat, she suffers a minus 10% penalty on her firepower. Whereas Olaf, he doesn't have any penalties, doesn't have any buffs, but I've got my comm tower. He hasn't. These two tanks, as far as I'm concerned, are completely even. Like, both of them have the exact same firepower. It's just, one has 30% defense, and the other has 10. Yeah. I don't quite like this engagement at all. Like, attacking a tank on a city, even if it's not an owned city by anyone, even if your opponent is sitting on your city, like, unless you have the tanks to back it up, which you just now do, don't take that engagement. Wait until you have a second tank by that tank's side to where they can, like, take that tank out together. And in this matchup, like, unless that tank is damaged, neither of these two COs are going to be able to two-shot a tank on a city. Olaf can cheat, but he's not going to be able to do that normally. Because otherwise, you're just going to get this to happen. And yes, I have blocked myself off from this, but he's got another tank coming in. And I don't think he's going to do the same thing again. He's a 900 rated level player. I know he's not going to do the same thing again. Because this will be the same thing of, ow, oven hot type deal. So, yeah. So, he's down a tank. I have a little bit of a tank advantage, but that's not going to last very long. And I am building quite a bit of mechs down here. So, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this tank can't reach. This tank ain't gonna go near it. And I actually don't know if Sami tanks can knock out. It will be quite a luck roll, I think. Yeah, it will be a luck roll if Sami can even take out a tank, like, in a forest. In fact, I should know. Jess infantry can barely knock out any other infantry in forest. But what Sami can do is knock out infantry in cities, stopping Olaf from generating income. And yep. Like, even in, oh, that's not a mountain, but even in city versus mountain engagements, if both of them are infantry, Sami will typically be the one to come out on top, regardless of where she is. It's just whoever gets the first strike at that point, I believe. I could be completely wrong on that, so don't quote me. Because 130% attack power plus the comm tower, I got sensei level foot soldiers right now. And then Jess artillery. And so, King over here saw like, ow, ow, oven hot, ow, 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 Bernie. I'm gonna go down here. Okay, I'll stop with that analogy, but that's essentially what did happen. So, this is the point where it's starting to become the strong side, weak side point. Where I'm going to be doing a bit up here, and he's going to be doing a bit down here. This turned out to be very, very bad, actually, for me. Because while Sami can do quite a bit when it comes to infantry engagement, she can't do too much when it comes to vehicle engagements. And like Olaf, Sami can also cheat and utilize mechs. Mechs hit just as hard as tanks. It's just they take 5% less damage than infantry do, I want to say. That sounds right. But, over here, once again in the middle, I'm just front shifting. So, he front shifted his tanks to the south, and now he front shifted them all into the middle again. And he almost made it look like a freaking Pikmin base over here. Like the old Pikmin 1 and 2 games where it's just like a multitude of onions. This is sort of what it looks like right here. Here's the ship and here's all the onions. And I want to play Pikmin now, just because I said that. God dang it. I grew up with Pikmin. Why do I love that game so much? Because I grew up with it. I just answered my own question. So, here's one tank engagement on the city. Here's another tank engagement. Here's what Sami is going to do. Well, actually nothing. But here's what Sami could have done. Let me finish a turn first, before I do anything. Actually, no. No, I like this position a whole lot better. You can tell I remember this game. So, there goes one tank. And Steven here is starting to take engagements with my mechs, with his infantry. Definitely try to do this. If you ever see your opponent building quite a bit of mechs and you have infantry in the area, go after those mechs with your infantry for the love of God. Mechs cost 3 times as much as infantry. That should be one of your biggest things to go for. And Steven does that phenomenally right there. And also getting the heck away from these mechs too. Because these mechs, like, yes, they have 2 reach, but with Sami, that will turn into 3 with her power, or with her super. So he is playing very carefully down here and keeping out of my range, which, good, that's good. And he's also building recons. Recons are one of the units you want to build against Sami, because they deal a little bit more, I think they deal a little bit more damage against infantry than tanks do. Nope, tanks deal a little bit more. They just take a little bit more damage back. But because recons are so cheap, it's typically one of the go-to things to build against Sami, and even Sensei. Like, you just have to be careful because they can get picked off by infantry. So I believe that this is swapped. Yeah, like, they can do quite a bit. They get onto roads. Like, this is potentially a quarter of it gone. And Sami especially. Yeah. So be careful when it comes to recons, be careful when it comes to tanks, be careful when it comes to anti-air. All three of them can deal with infantry and mechs just fine. Just be careful about that. And considering that, oh god, he's going after my mechs. I'm going to hunker down over here a little bit. But, as you noticed, I have been doing quite well when it comes to engagements. I have the troop lead. Olaf is not one of those COs to where that matters in these type of matchups. Because as soon as he has Winter Fury, he's going to use it. Personally, I would use it a little bit, like, just a tiny bit, sooner. If you were still going to take engagements. Because this could have been a dead tank. That could have been a dead infantry. But aside from that, yeah, this ain't good. Sami definitely wants to use Victory March before Olaf can think about using Winter Fury. It's not going to happen because it costs like a whole freaking bar more than Winter Fury. She can at least use double time though. And I lost 20% of my army just from that interaction. And he gets to reinforce his side. I don't. Yes, I still have the benefit of the roads, so my APC is unhindered. But aside from roads and cities, HQs, the silo platforms, and the 6 shoals platforms here, my units aren't going to go anywhere. This is the point where, recall how I was talking about how mechs don't have perfect movement. You're actually getting ready to see that. So pay attention to this 5 HP mech down here. Yes, this mech is within range to get this down here, even though it's snowing. But this mech cannot go onto this tile here. Why is that? Mechs have perfect movement, don't they? It's just a mountain. This mech can go into the mountain, just not over here. Olaf is the only CO in the entire game that can restrict mech movement. Rain isn't going to do anything to foot soldiers. Mountains on snow count as 2 movement for mechs. 3, like, and it's a lot more for infantry too. Infantry just cannot go onto mountains anymore when it's snowing. Because typically they have 3 movement, but actually I don't know why they can't go into mountains. Because this adds 1 movement to... Ooh, it just adds 1 movement for mechs. Why wouldn't it have 1 more movement for infantry? Because these count as 2. Eventually works by web fixer game. Because I think this might be a bug. Because they can still move down here, so it's 1, 2, and then 3. Math and logic is saying that this infantry should be able to go onto these mountains. Not going any farther past, but game says no. So I don't know if this actually counts as 4 for infantry now. Because the mechs are able to go on it when it's 2. Snow doesn't double the cost for terrain movement. It just adds 1 more. Interesting. I'm so glad I got a pop filter. Now you can't even hear dogs bark. It's amazing. Yeah, so I am forced to just sit here. That's not something that Sami typically wants to do, is just sit there. So here's the good news. I can survive one Winter Fury. Because even though all of my units are damaged, both me and King here have fairly equal unit values. I still have more of a troop lead, and I have a tech advantage with the Neo tank. That's all I got over him though. So, one, I can survive. And there goes my battlecopter. There goes one of my infantry. This unit lead is starting to dwindle very quickly. So, there goes my artillery. And this artillery is now threatening my artillery, which, what the heck? You're a great guy here. Yeah, so I'm going to use Victory March on this because I need to even this up quickly and I need to even it up now. That anti-air, gone. That tank, that was a 5 HP mech and it dealt 5 damage to a tank. And I am taking this. This is my comm tower now. Gone. That city is now mine. And don't forget what I've been saying before. Anti-air can pick off tanks. And right now, like, I have 110% base attack, like, on all of my direct combat vehicles now. And since I have the power going on, they are max units. So, and I 150% with this, and this is without the power. These mechs are going to hit hard. Infantry are going to hit hard. And that's my city now. That's also my city now. But here's the thing though. Well, this look at this. 2 infantry. 2 damage back on that one, and then 2 damage back on that one. That's like, what, I lost 400 funds, and this tank took... This tank took how much damage? 3 HP of damage? That's nuts. 2 more, there's 2 more right there. Goodbye, tank. And I'm going to save up a little bit. Here's the thing, though, about when you're going up against Olaf. And Drake can also fall into this as well, in some cases. Your opponent is not going to want to attack Olaf or Drake while rain and snow is up. And considering that snow is up during their turn, I don't want to take engagements. Because not all of my troops can actually get to them. And when that snow and rain resets, so does their power bar, and they can begin building power charge again. That entire time, like during Victory March, Olaf has been getting Winter Fury. He already has Blizzard. And he is only 30k away from getting Winter Fury. And considering that there's quite a bit here that he can do. Yeah, there's 45k right there. Yeah, he's getting his comm tower back. Yeah, there goes my artillery. And yeah. Also, can we just talk about this engagement right here? 5 HP Sami infantry on city versus Olaf 7 HP infantry on plains. Olaf doesn't have a comm tower yet. Sami has 2 with Victory March. 2 HP infantry, and it took the 7 HP dealt took 2 back. All I have to say to that is just wow. And while I may have a 4k lead on Steven, that's not gonna last. At all. Especially here in the moment. I'm going backwards. Especially here in a moment. I have a bomber. And it was possibly the worst purchase I could have done. Because Winter Fury is right around the corner. And remember what I said about snow? It doesn't matter what unit it is. So suddenly, King has advantage on my weak side, and he is building up an advantage on the very top. We both have a Neo tank. He's got his comm tower back. He is taking 2 cities. I am definitely getting this city though, no matter what. Maybe. Yeah, no matter what. I'm definitely getting one of his cities. And I stopped that. Because I want to lose 2. But this is not good for me. And the first bomber, fine. I can get away with the first bomber. The second one, though, no. And I am foolishly playing this as I played the last game I played Sami as in this one against Kindle. I cannot do the same thing against Olaf. And Olaf is quick to let me know that. Because here comes another Winter Fury. Never mind. But Winter Fury is right around the corner. And his anti-air is just out of reach. My bomber needs to get the heck out of there. And there's little to nothing I can do anymore. Because this is the point where Olaf is going to start shoving Sami out. Yeah. And then 3 tanks. Why not? Yes, I may have the income advantage, but that's not going to last. And the safest place for this bomber right now is right where it's at. This bomber can't go anywhere. I keep the fight going, yes. But there's nowhere for this bomber to go. And he's got a fighter here too. One, two, three of my cities are being captured. I have victory march coming around the corner, but what infantry, what foot soldiers are going to benefit from it? None is the answer. I managed to stop a few things, and I managed to do something which I thought would wall this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just wait and watch, because I got a little bit too happy on this one. Because I start building back up, it's still possible for me to win this. I'm 5k out. 3k out. I can't say 3k, I'm 1k out. We're basically shoving each other back and forth. Because Sami's foot is still in the door. It's just... It's just the fact that, Olaf just shoved her out now. There's nothing more I can do. Especially with this play right here. Goodbye, mech. And goodbye, bomber. The entire south has been wiped out. If you can survive 2 Winter Furies, and you still have a solid lead up against Olaf, you can keep going. You absolutely can. But as soon as the 3rd Winter Fury comes in, you better have a response to everything he has. I don't have a response to this fighter. I don't have a response to this either. I don't have a response to this artillery. Never mind, I do. It's called, blasting this one. That's the only response I got. But he knocked it out, essentially. It's going to get repaired, yes, and it is going to have an infantry deal with it. And it does, so I can knock out the artillery. Yay! I can defend my area, but Olaf is just going to keep pushing. The entire south, I'm reduced down to my base in the south. That's it. And 7, 5, 3. Never tell me that tanks cannot deal with neo-tanks in the right scenario. Never tell me that. Because this is full proof of it right here. Just full HP battlecopter with Neo Tank. 7 and 9. And this is with both of them, like, both of us having one comm tower, by the way. 5 to 7, and then started out as 9 and just took 3 damage back. Never tell me tanks cannot deal with Neo Tanks in the right scenario, because this is definitely the scenario that was right for that. At this, he is spreading himself out a little bit thin, but considering where my placements are, there's nothing I can do. Not anymore. And this bomber is going to make absolute sure of it. These tanks are going to make sure that no anti-air can come out here. This Neo Tank is going... So this Neo Tank can just go in and destroy every single thing. This fighter down here ensures that I can't build any type of aerial unit. And this bomber is just going to shut out every other single scenario. Even if this bomber wasn't here, this Neo Tank would have done just that. I have a full health anti-air. I have 11 infantry. A lot of them which are wounded. 3 of which are at 1 HP. I have 3 mechs. 1 of them, which is at 3 HP. An APC. And a 3 HP Neo Tank. Look at my value. I'm pretty sure the value of the infantry is more than the value of the Neo Tank right now. I have, even if I build a Mega Tank, Sami is not one that can use a Mega Tank very, very well. My goodness. I wish I was able to see the stats on here. Because, my god. If Sami can be aggressive enough to where she can push Olaf back from the door while she has her foot wedged in it, in some scenarios she can, but every other single scenario, Olaf is going to shove her right out the door. Sami is not a CO that has global damage, and considering that Olaf also brings the benefit of snow, which can stop Sami's march, that, like, Olaf prevents her from doing what she does best. And when your CO is able to do that, there's not much more you can do other than trying to defend. But you can only defend so much against global damage. So I hope this showed like a bit more for Olaf and global damage than it did with the Javier match. But this, my god. I was blown away with this match. Quite literally, actually. I was playing against Olaf as I played against that Kindle from before, which wasn't good. Because when it comes to Olaf, he plays his own game. He's not going to go aggressive unless he knows he's winning. And the times when he does get aggressive, Olaf is one of the few COs where he can get punished quite heavily. He was in the beginning, actually. But once that global damage starts coming up more and more often, because more and more expensive units are starting to be deployed, and being lost. Winter Fury will come in more and more. I am glad, I'm proud to have survived 2 Winter Furies. That third one is the one that destroyed me. But anytime you're in Tier 2, heck, even Tier 3, since Drake is there, give those two COs a try. And if you're at Tier 1, Hawk is definitely fun to play around as well. Give him a try. Global Damage, they are definitely something you should play around with at least once.